I feel so grateful to be able to sit here with you guys as donors to thank you for the various ways in which you give. But I'm also curious about what makes you hear something on the radio about a family that's going through a tragedy and give.
I'll be honest, it literally feels like the least I can do. When I hear about some of the stories and how tragic it is, I stop and think, I need to do something. How can I not do something? And then I make that donation and I feel some measure of contribution to helping somebody else out, just because it's a feeling that I should be doing more.
Yeah. So you feel that connection with them because of their story on the radio?
Every single time
Yeah.
it hits me.
Absolutely. To your point, when you do donate to a cause, it goes into a fund and you know it's going for the greater good. This generally does have a name and a face and a story, and generally will tug on your heartstrings.
And something you can relate to.
Absolutely.
Because it could be you, or it could be your neighbor. Do you ever stop and think about the fact that you may never meet the people that you've helped?
Yes, of course, but I believe that's not what it's all about. These people all live in the communities and cities and towns that I deal with every day for the last 20 years doing business with. So I want to give back. I don't have to see who it is, because if it happened to me, I would want the same kind of love. And that's what I like about your foundation.
You know, there are tragedies every day, and I feel an obligation to tell those stories so that we can all come together and help. You know, like the story of Melissa Dixon, whose husband passed away unexpectedly in the middle of the night and left 4 children behind.
I met my husband in probably 2002 at Fenway Park. He was a beer seller and he worked on Yawkey Way, and I was a souvenir girl.
When you first dance, everyone just staring at you.
Yes, it's very awkward. I come from a really big family, and the first time they met Chris, everybody was kind of looking at him like, that's a really big guy. But the minute they got to know him, they were like in love with him. Almost 2 years after we got married, we had Christian, and he's our 9-year-old son. And then almost 4 years later, we were blessed with triplet girls. When I called him and I said, we're having triplets, I think he almost fainted. He was like, how are we gonna do this? But you know what? He took to it like it was fine. Everything was fine. We did it. The money that we received is helping just pay bills until we can get Social Security, and I haven't worked in 10 years. So I need to reevaluate and get a job and figure out how I'm gonna support 4 kids now. So this money that we received is helping to get through. This whole experience has taught me that there's still good people in this world. And I mean, people that donated don't know me. They don't know my family. And I'm just a stranger. And they heard our story and they donated. And that, to me, restores your faith in humanity.
It touches me how these people take a right turn with such a tragedy, and their whole life stops. That they can't go on. They can't go on with everyday little things, going to the bank, going to school, taking the kids to guitar lessons, so on and so forth. That they don't know how they're going to move forward. But then they see that the communities that surround them are helping out to say, hey, we're here for you. We're going to help you. We're going to help you move on. Life will go on. And that touches me. And as a person who's like hard to crack, that really cracks me right there in that heart, right there in the little heart.
Some of these donations aren't, it's not millions of dollars being given to a family. It's, $10, $15, $20,000 just to get them back on their feet. That check made such an impact on them immediately and enabled them to get over the hump of their tragedy and get their lives moving in the right direction again.
When people are in the middle of their tragedy, the last thing on their mind is finances and mortgages and what the next steps are. They're just literally trying to get through the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you give, what our donors give, allows those families to focus on healing. And that's really the most important part of that. And it's, I don't know that everyone who gives realizes how life-changing that can be. I think about the families that were affected in the Merrimack Valley by the gas explosions and what that must have been like Veronica Soto, who just now with her family is starting to get somewhere close to being back to normal.
It was around 4:15 probably in the afternoon on a Thursday, and I got a phone call from my husband, who is a Lawrence police officer. He was on duty that day, and he just quickly said, there's a lot of fires, there's some explosions happening, and it didn't quite register, and immediately my mind went to the girls. I had to stop and think, all right, where's Aaliyah, who's my youngest? I said, okay, she's in school, she's in an after-school program. Destiny's home, so I called her. What felt like hours, but it really took just seconds, really, between me asking her, is everything okay? Can you just take a look around outside, make sure everything's fine through your window? And she did, and it was just all in the blink of an eye. I heard a loud sound. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the danger that she was in. I didn't know it was an explosion at the time, but I heard a loud sound, and she was silent for a minute, and it was, she freaked out, and she called my name, and sorry. And she said there was a lot of smoke. Then I heard the fire alarms go off in the background. So my instinct was just run, get out of the house. I'm just grateful that she got out. When we saw the house, that's when I realized, wow, our life as of right now will never be the same again.
Veronica Soto is on the phone, and I'm glad you called because I think it's really important for people to hear who they help. And
100%.
In this case, it's your family.
The support that we've received from everyone has been amazing. It really has been overwhelmingly amazing.
It is nice to see that there's so much good out in the world, so much good. We're so grateful. We're so grateful.
I couldn't, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. But I would think that, yes, it's the finances, but there's more behind it. There's more that there are people out there that actually feel bad and care about you.
Yes,
and that has to warm your heart, even through your pain, even through, the anxiety and all that you're going through. The money is nice and helpful and needed, but
You
moreover,
don't feel alone. You're not alone.
Right,
Like,
and it's even
you're
better
not-
when it's
you're not
people
alone.
you don't know. It's not even like your friends or your, people that you work with. It's just the community at large is like, we got your back. We're gonna help
wishing
you.
you well.
We're
we're
gonna
saying,
help you get through this.
we know how awful it is, but we're here.
And we're sorry.
and-
We're
Yeah,
sorry
We're
that
sorry.
happened.
Let me help you by giving you this.
Yeah.
This is what I can give.
There are so many worthy charities that do incredible things. Why this foundation?
This one holds a special place because it's local, and maybe it's not always closure in the sense that we like to talk about, but we hear that they got the money quickly, the money helped, and then we often hear later how it got them back on their feet. And I think to myself, okay, I got to see the end game.
I have a pillow laying around on one of the couches there that says Beyond Blessed. We as a family, as a whole, we do feel blessed because even amidst this horrible moment, there's still good coming out of it. A house is just a structure. It's what you build around it, really, with your family. So, this is a fresh start for us, definitely. Not a planned one, but it is a fresh start for us. It means a lot to be able to do that. Watching our home be rebuilt, it's at the same time, it's like watching us be rebuilt. So it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense.
There's so many times I want to call and text him and tell him everything that's been going on. And I think he would be like, this is crazy. Like, I think he would probably be happy that his family is not suffering that way financially right now. But I think he would be happy. I think he would really be happy that the kids are gonna be okay. Me will be okay.
Through 3,215 days, your support has helped 188 families. Help us continue to help others. Donate today.